Now we're going today with India, the biggest country by population in the world, and just got the title a few years ago because they were a long time ago. They just was not so long time ago was on the second place. Now look at this. By 2022, they just got the first place, so replaced China immediately after the pandemic, let's say, ended. India, it's a 1.4, 1.5 billion people population, which again, in my opinion, it's insane. If you want to know how those countries got so big, it's because they start with more people than the rest of the countries. So this is how they end up with such a big numbers. But also the fertility rate used to be way higher. I mean, look at this, almost 6 child per woman. I mean, that's insane. But now, let's see, in 2025, the fertility rate dropped at just below 2, and by 2050 it's gonna be below 1.8, so it's gonna be 1.7. And again, those are with the data that they want us to know, let's say, because in the reality, I suspect the population is gonna be, not just for India, for the rest of the world, actually going down much faster than they, let's say, than they predict, because I don't know anyone right now around the world who's doing that well. Then again, that 5 to 6 fertility rate comes back pretty soon, or knowing anyone to have 4 or 5 kids. So the growing rate, that's the thing that I'm concerning about, because it's, look at this one, 2025 it's under 1%, is 0.89, and by the 2050 it's gonna be 0.28. My suspicion is by 2050 already gonna see the growing rate with a minus in front, because I don't see it going that long for the next 25 years still on growing with whatever is happening in the world. And the life expectancy of the Indians, again, much faster, going up and up than pretty much the rest of the countries. They are still low than other countries. You can have like both sexes have like 72 years, female 73 and male 70, pretty close one to each other. So when you have those close numbers and your country starts to, let's say, industrialize, you're gonna see, at least for the woman, much greater life expectancy in a near future than, let's say, for the men. I mean, if the female goes to 80 and the man goes to 72, the both sex is going to be much higher. So that's why you have that steep line when it goes up and up. And let's go with the cities. The biggest one is Mumbai, Delhi, and Bengaluru. So look at this, not as big as China by cities. A lot of people actually, they still go in living in the rural area. The first 70 cities in China, like I said, it was like over 1 million, every single one of them. Here at 49 it just stops, and the 50 starts under the million. And obviously the urban population right now is 37%, and it's gonna be 52 by 2050. So people are moving to the cities, and they leave the countryside. That's another sign of industrialization. They just move from the countryside to the cities. Now everybody knows how Indian city looks like, with a lot of people on them, and pretty much no space for anything. But again, it's a different culture. Maybe they like it, I don't know. But on the countryside, if you move there, probably it's gonna have like pretty much all the countries right now in the world. You're gonna have probably a much better life, but it's gonna be harder to find a job and sustain for yourself. Now, the immigration in India, that's another issue here that we have, because like in China, it's pretty much not as bad, but it's pretty much on minus from 1995. Look at this, 57, 143, almost a million in 2005, and it's still going down. But it's a lot of people actually leaving the Indian. So that shows us that the native population, they're still having a decent amount of kids, but everything that goes under 2.2 fertility rate, they say it's unreplaceable population, because it's much harder for the future to actually have a newborn people that they can sustain the let's say the pension system, the actual system. That's another problem that everybody kind of misunderstanding right now. Everybody say, oh, it's going to be horrible because the population is going down, Yeah, it's horrible for this old system, but for the new one that's going to come, there's not going to be that much an issue. Actually, they're going to play in their advantage, because let's face it, we do not need that many people wherever they are on the world. It just happened that from the last, let's say we are in 2050, and for the last 100 years, look how much the population got much bigger. So clearly, if you multiply that much in 100 years, imagine how much we can go down for the next 100 years, starting from 2050. So again, it's not going to be a big problem with anything, but probably it's going to be actually in a good advantage of us, because you have more space for everyone, more resource for everyone. Yes, you're going to have some other problems, but for now, probably everybody who is living right now, and let's say it's around 20 and 50 years old, hopefully they're going to see that for the first time in our history, the world population, the overall population is going down, and probably is going to stay on that trend for a long time, if not, let's say, forever, especially in the first part of the going down population, when everything is going to move much faster down, and then probably is going to slow down, but still on the decline trajectory. So yeah, that was the Indian population. I make the US population and the China, and now with the India, the biggest one. So we already have the first three countries at the population growing rate or declining rate, and you can see it's a big difference between first two, which is India and China, then immediately go to US. It's 346 million, and the rest of them is pretty much at least more than a billion more. So you can see a much more difference. And the rest of them, you have Indonesia from Asia, this is Africa, South America, Asia, this is Asia and Europe, Africa, Mexico, it's America, but I think it's more like a South America than the North America, or let's say it's a Central America. Japan, it's Asia. Japan is an interesting country, maybe I'll make a video with the next one. Egypt, we have Africa, Asia, Africa, Asia, and first country in the European is Germany, with 84 million people. That's another problem here. That's I want to make a video, European population, because it's more than meets the eye there, and it's going to be an interesting video. And the last one, Thailand, with an Asian country. So all of those countries, top 20, you're going to see a big changes in how they rank in the next 25 years, because they're going to see countries like Ethiopia are going to go rank much further, and the countries like Russia is going to go a bit down, and Japan is going to go much more down, and so on. So that was a video. Check the other videos, like I say, the US and China, because they are pretty interesting, and you can have all over a picture what's happening with the first big three countries in the world right now.